Hi guys, welcome back once again for another video. So this video is a quite special video for me. So people who are following my channel may be knowing that I own a Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R and Ninja 300. The Ninja 300 has been with me for quite some time. I have been owning that motorcycle for more than 8 years. But there is something special which kindled the biker inside me. Before the Kawasaki Ninja 300, I was owning something else. That is where it all started, and here this is where it is now. So let me introduce to you all my first motorcycle, 2010 TVS Apache RTR 180. Yes, this is a 2010 model of the TVS Apache. So this motorcycle is more than 12 years old, and now it has done around 82,000 kilometers with me. So this is my first motorcycle, and I am still owning this motorcycle, and is in running condition even today. So this is a 2010 TVS Apache RTR 180 model. Yes, this is a 2010 model motorcycle, and now this motorcycle is more than 12 years old, and it has done around 82,500 plus kilometers with me. So this is my first motorcycle, and this is where all began, and I am still keeping this motorcycle. Even though I ride much powerful motorcycles today, this motorcycle always has a special place in my heart. The happiness which I got on the day I took this motorcycle is unmatched. I was much more happier than the day on which I took even the ZX-10R. So today I will let you all know why I chose this motorcycle 12 years ago, and how this motorcycle has fared over the course of my ownership, how this motorcycle has performed, and how it has lasted this much. I will let you all know. Before beginning, I have to tell you the struggles which I went through to get this motorcycle. That is very important. So back in those days, it was not easy for us 90s kids to convince our parents to purchase a motorcycle for us. So I had to persuade my parents for almost a year and get them convinced to get me a motorcycle. The struggle was real at that time, and maybe the kids these days may not be knowing that. So even back in those days, I had a lot of options while purchasing this Apache. It was at that time when the 150cc's have already completely changed the motorcycling scenario in the Indian market. With the launch of the CBC, Hero Honda CBZ in 1999, and the Pulsar twins, the Pulsar 150 and 180 were launched in way back in 2001, and then the Pulsar 200 and 220 were, I think, launched in 2006, and somewhere in between the legendary Hero Honda Charisma was also introduced. So speaking of Pulsar 200, it is not 200 NS. The people these days may not be knowing that there was a Pulsar 200 which was there to fill the gap between the 180 and the 220. The motorcycle was there for some time, and I think later it was discontinued, since Bajaj didn't want to have a motorcycle between the 180 and the 220. So it is worth mentioning the competition between TVS and Bajaj at that time. So the Pulsars were a big hit in the market back in 2001, and I think at that time the 180 was considered a pretty big motorcycle. So 150 was having a good number of sales, and TVS tried to counter the Pulsar 150 by launching its own version of the Apache. The Apache, I think 150 Hyper Edge or something was the name, and that motorcycle didn't had the sales that TVS expected. And later in 2007, TVS launched the Apache 160, and that is where the 180 borrowed the design. And the Apache 160 was a big hit in the market, but by the time Bajaj has launched the 180 and 220, and the Pulsar 180 was going very strong in the market, and TVS didn't had any answer to the 180. And then in 2009, TVS took the competition head on with this Apache 180. I remember as a college student at the time seeing the news about the launch in the Hindu newspaper. That was way back in 2009, and in 2010 this was mine. And finally everything came together for me, and I was able to own this motorcycle right from the 28th day of April 2010. So why did I choose this motorcycle? The answer is I don't know. I didn't had any logical reasons, but something from inside me told this is the one, and go for it. So I will tell you all what are the things I really loved with this motorcycle when I took it back in 2010. So there are quite a few things which I really loved in this motorcycle back then. So one thing which really I loved with the Apache is the grunt of the engine. The noise of the engine is so good, it feels like music to ears. Even after more than a decade, this motorcycle still has that old grunt in it. And then I have to mention about this split handlebars. So back in those days, the motorcycles were having their handlebars as a single piece, just like the naked motorcycles of today. So back in those days, this was first of a kind in a motorcycle in this segment, and that is one feature which I really loved with this motorcycle. And then I have to mention about the instrument cluster of this motorcycle. So this Apache comes with a blue color backlit instrument cluster, which looks really cool during the night times. The Apache 160 was having orange, and the Pulsars are also having orange color backlight, but the Apache had a blue color one, and at night times it really looked very cool. And this Apache has two trip meters. The motorcycle comes with two trip meters, and then there is a counter to record the quickest time in which this motorcycle has achieved the 0 to 60 km/h mark. And there is one more risky thing. There is a counter which records the maximum speed this motorcycle has ever reached, a feature which I hid from my parents for quite a long time. And one more thing which really made me choose the Apache over its rivals is at that time this is the only motorcycle above the 150cc segment which had a Kickstarter. Yes, the Kickstarter was available in only the Apache 180. The Pulsar 180 has discontinued, and the 220 and other big motorcycles didn't come with a Kickstarter. So while speaking about the Kickstarter, I think I have made the right decision. Today my Apache's battery is dead, but still I can ride the motorcycle thanks to its Kickstarter. One more thing which I have to mention is this motorcycle sports a rear disc brake. Back in those days, rear disc brakes were very rare, and the only motorcycles having a rear disc brake other than the Apache 180 is the Yamaha R15, the Bajaj Pulsar 220, and the Honda CBR 250. So it is always better to have a disc brake than a drum brake. And one more thing which I would like to mention is about the headlights of this motorcycle. This motorcycle has a really good headlight which has a very good throw during night time, and even the LED tail light looks very cool during the night time. And I have to mention, in this 12 years of ownership, I have never replaced the rear LED tail lights. Even my Ninja 300 doesn't sport a LED tail light. So looking at the performance of this motorcycle, though it is a air-cooled engine, this motorcycle can reach from 0 to 60 kilometers per hour in 4.3 seconds and 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 13.2 seconds. So this motorcycle doesn't come with fuel injection. It is equipped with a carburetor, and the maximum speed which I have reached with this motorcycle is 132 kilometers per hour, and the mileage figures are around 40 kilometers per liter. Pretty good for a 180cc motorcycle. And looking back at the path which we traveled together, I have to say those are the memories which I can cherish for a lifetime. I will never forget the first day when I got this motorcycle delivered from the showroom. The happiness, I don't have words to describe it. So this is the motorcycle in which I learned the ABC of motorcycling. Before riding the Apache, I didn't even know how to properly use a disc brake, and this is where I learned all those things. And I have owned this motorcycle for more than 12 years, and I don't have any idea of parting ways with this motorcycle, since this is my first motorcycle. One thing which really surprised me is TVS was able to make a motorcycle that was able to last this much longer with me. So this is my story with my Apache 190. This is the one which started it all. This is the one which activated the rider in me, and this is the one because of which I am what I am today. So please share in the comment section if you have any similar stories with any of your motorcycles. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. See you all once again and again.